KCTV5 is pushing for answers in the death of 3-year-old Olivia Jansen. Prosecutors say she was murdered and left in a shallow grave. It's unclear how many people alerted authorities, but her grandparents say they did. Tonight, Betsy Webster is pushing for clear information and fact-checking the response from the Kansas Department of Children and Families.
This memorial 300 feet from where detectives found Olivia Jansen's body buried in a shallow grave is massive. People who've never met her are leaving behind things like candles, Barbie dolls, stuffed animals. In fact, they've even put a cross up on a tree there. Some in the community say that social services got calls concerned about her safety prior to her murder. Our job is not to take those accusers at their word, but to get documentation. And the Department of Children and Families has yet to provide that. It was June 10th when an Amber Alert turned into a murder investigation. Detectives found Olivia Jansen buried in a shallow grave. The district attorney charged Olivia's dad and his girlfriend with murder and child endangerment.
Justice!
There have been protest rallies alleging calls were made and that she'd be alive if DCF had taken action. On Monday the 13th, we submitted an official request for the number and dates of prior hotline calls or complaints related to Olivia Jansen. DCF still hasn't released that. Court documents reveal disturbing information about Olivia. Quote, the victim's arms and legs were covered in bruising. The victim's face was covered in bruising. There was significant bleeding found on the back of the brain. The brain bleed was determined to be the cause of death. Yesterday, DCF explained that by law, before they can release records, they need to determine if the death itself was due to abuse or neglect. He referenced the court document we had just received. He wrote that, quote, the Wyandotte County District Attorney's Office very recently released the document and that it would help them, quote, render a finding in the very near future. We wanted to know what very recently meant, so we asked for the date. Their reply, the information you seek is part of an ongoing investigation and therefore cannot be disclosed at this time. But when we asked the police department, they did give us a date. Quote, on July 14th, DCF requested the affidavits be sent to them so they could be utilized in their investigation. The affidavits were provided to DCF that day. That means they had that evidence 2 weeks ago. The protests have highlighted that the regional director for DCF is the wife of the Wyandotte County District Attorney. In a statement from the DA's office today, it indicated that she has recused herself from this case, not just this one, but as a rule, recuses herself from any child welfare case in Wyandotte County. Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.